Hello again and welcome to another Mordy and Glory Warhammer 40k video. And it's time for another Quick Tip Tactica, the episode where we have a look at a cheeky tactic or strategy that you can easily plug and play into your army. And today I want to share with you my new favorite Leman Russ loadout, the one that I have been having a huge amount of success with and that has been performing very well on the tabletop. The loadout in question I took not only to the Adepticon Singles Championships, but also it was part of my team list as well, and it was used by not just me but one of my teammates, and both of us were blown away by how deadly this thing was. But I know what you guys are asking. Mordian, stop blue balling us. Tell us what it is. Is it the Demolisher? The Exterminator? No, dear conscript. It's the humble, the venerable Leman Russ battle tank. A controversial statement incoming, a classic bold Mordy and Glory hot take, but I think this might be the best guard tank right now. That is a big one. I'm going to have to back this up. Let's not mess around any further. Let's mount up, roll out, and drive the men right into today's episode. Now, I think the best way to start this video is with a very brief rundown of what the hell the Leman Russ battle tank is. It is the standard main tank of the Guard. It's a medium tank. It used to be considered a heavy vehicle, but with the additions marching on and codex and unit creep and things like the Rogel Dawn coming in being the true heavy tanks now, the Leman Russ is more of a medium tank in the wider context of the Guard and also the whole of the game. Now, its stat line is good. It's very solid. Movement 10 means it'll get where it needs to go. It's not the fastest vehicle, but it's not crawling along at a terrible pace. It's faster than most infantry. T11 with a 2+ save and 13 wounds makes it pretty durable as well. Leadership 7 and OC3 are fine. It also has a good main weapon. So all the different Leman Russes have got their own different main weapon. For example, the Demolisher has the Demolisher cannon, the Exterminator has the Exterminator autocannon, and the Leman Russ battle tank has the battle cannon. This is a 48-inch range, D6 plus 3 shots, ballistic skill 4+, strength 10, AP -1, 3 damage. Now, that 48-inch range is a long range. It's shorter than it has had in the past, but with 40k boards coming down in size, 48-inch range is basically the longest range you're going to come across outside of some exceptional circumstances. D6 plus 3 makes it a very reliable weapon. Solid. You're never going to roll a 1 and just basically have your main tank do nothing for a turn. Even if you roll badly, you're still getting 4 shots. Ballistic skill 4+ on the surface looks bad, but don't forget that Guard have got easy access to +1 to hit modifiers from things like the take aim order, and this being a tank, not like a little support unit like a Chimera, it's high up on the priority, it's high up on the hierarchy for getting those orders. And then strength 10 is good. Strength 10 means that you're going to wound almost any infantry outside of the heaviest of infantry, like Custodes, on 2s, and any vehicle in the game at worst you're going to be wounding on 5s, and a lot of the time you're going to be wounding on 3s or 4s. The only pisser here is AP -1, but this is the Guard. We have access to many different ways of boosting our AP. You can double stack things like Fields of Fire, and you've also got the aforementioned Leman Russ Exterminators, which can give you extra AP as well. So the AP1 really is not a hindrance, and then the flat damage 3 is spicy. If you combine all that profile together, it means you've got a long range weapon with a reliable number of shots, with access to a good ballistic skill that can be thrown into any enemy target, that can have a relatively strong AP with a bit of support. This is the Guard, you should be supporting your units, and with damage 3 meaning it can threaten anything from Terminators up to vehicles. If this thing gets 4 shots through on an enemy vehicle on average, that's a dead vehicle, and it's got the volume of fire to make that happen. But what is great about the Leman Russ platform, which is very true about the battle tank but true with all the variants as well, is the amount of supplementary systems you can put on it. This thing comes with like a heavy bolter in addition to its battle cannon. And you can give it a las cannon, and then you can give it a heavy stubber, and you can give it a hunter killer missile, and then you can give it 2 more heavy weapons on top of that, from heavy bolters all the way up to goddamn multi-melters, which means that a single Leman Russ will have a battle cannon, a las cannon, a heavy stubber, a hunter killer missile, and 2 sponson weapons as well, giving it 6 weapon systems on a single vehicle. At 180 points, makes that a lot of bang for your buck. But I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Mordian, what's the big deal? Every Leman Russ platform has this good defensive stat line and has access to all of these extra guns that you can strap onto it. Why have you suddenly started getting a big hard-on for the Leman Russ battle tank? It's the ability. Armored Spearhead is, in my opinion, the best Russ ability going right now. Each time this model makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, reroll a hit roll of 1. Seems okay? Wait, there's more. And if that unit is within range of an objective marker you do not control, you can reroll the hit roll instead. Full rerolls to hit. And not just on the main gun. This is the thing that a lot of people overlook when it comes to the battle tank. You see, most Leman Russes, their abilities only affect their main gun. Or they only kick in when the unit's already like half dead. For example, you've got like the Leman Russ Executioner. But the Leman Russ battle tank, from the get-go, its ability is dialed up to 11. And it affects every single weapon system. You get full rerolls on that battle cannon, on that las cannon, on that heavy stubber, on that hunter killer missile, on those plasma cannons. And that's my favorite loadout. The battle cannon, the las cannon, the stubber, the hunter killer missile, and plasma cannons. That is my go-to. That I have found over a dozen games of 40k with this vehicle is the perfect balance of firepower, range, and damage for the Leman Russ battle tank. That is my new favorite loadout for any tank in the game. And let me explain why. All of those weapon systems have complementary range values. They're all 36-inch range or higher. This means that the Leman Russ battle tank can happily maintain a good distance from the enemy, which indirectly boosts its own durability, because not having to get up close and potentially risk getting hit by melter fire, whilst being able to throw that damage downrange. It's also got the volume. You've got the D6 plus 3 shots from the battle cannon, giving you an average of 7 to 8 shots. You've then got the las cannon, which gives you another big punchy shot on there, and the hunter killer missile, giving you about 10 big shots. And then you've got the plasma cannons on top, which have got D3 shots each, for another 4 shots, and then a cheeky heavy stubber, which at long range will give you another 3. So you're getting about 17 shots from this vehicle each turn, and that's before you come across big units where blast starts kicking in. And the amount of blast that this thing benefits from is insane. You've got the main gun, so even if you're just facing a basic unit of 5 space marines or the equivalent, that gets you 3 extra shots from this tank, because you get +1 blast for the main gun, and then each plasma cannon is a separate weapon. It's not twin plasma, it is 2 plasma cannons, and they also have blast. That's an extra 2 shots in the plasma for a total of 20 shots on average from this one tank shooting against a basic 5-man unit. When we start getting into proper hordes, big bricks of 10, 20 bugs, the number of shots this thing gets goes through the roof. I have seen a Leman Russ battle tank single-handedly flatten almost an entire brood of Tyranid bugs. And that is because of the raw volume this thing has, combined with the full rerolls. Don't forget, this thing is rerolling everything against an enemy unit on an objective. And guess what? This is 40k 10th edition. The entire game is about standing on circles. The way I use my Leman Russ battle tank to great effect was to literally have it covering a firing lane. It's nice and far back, so it can actually be out in the open and be relatively safe against a lot of enemy firepower, because it's got the range to do that. and it's just covering one of those mid-board objectives. I used this on GW terrain in 2 different tournaments. It was insane. Because GW terrain is dense, but there are some open firing lanes. And so I literally had this thing just parked, just covering an objective. One that I knew my opponent would have to make a play for, because I was overwhelming the other 2 with so much stuff that I knew he was going to be like, oh, I'll send them over to that cheeky other objective there. I'll get a sneaky primary in my favor. The moment he moved on to that thing, blasted him back into the abyss from whence he came. The Leman Russ battle tank is a bit of an evil bitch because it almost baits your opponent forward. They come forward thinking, okay, yeah, it's just 1 unit, I should be able to handle that, and suddenly it starts hitting them with all of this blast, all of these big shots, and all of these rerolls, and all of these lethal hits. Because that's the next feather in its cap. That's the next string to its bow. That's the next level of decadence that this beautiful tank is bringing to the table. Any unit in the Imperial Guard that stays still gets lethal hits. Now, a lot of units don't benefit from this because they've got to move. Movement wins games. You've heard me say that a lot. Fill out your bingo cards, right? I say that in all the streams, I say that in all the videos. Movement wins games. But there are exceptions that prove the rule. A good example, this is artillery. A lot of guard artillery that stays still gets the benefit from lethal hits. The big advantage that lethal hits gives you is it means you're able to start punching into targets normally you'd have no business going after, because it doesn't matter if you're toughness 3 or toughness 20. If I get a 6 to hit, I'm wounding you. Now, a lot of guard artillery likes lethal hits because it can stay still, shoot indirectly, but the problem is they don't have a lot of re-rolls. So even with your basilisk, you're sort of rolling it and you're kind of fishing, and you might get 1 or 2 lethal hits. Then you've got the Leman's battle tank. It's got the range where it can stay still. On the right terrain, it will cover an objective, not just GW terrain, by the way. There are other terrains it can do this on, but it will cover the objective, and the moment the enemy one's onto it, you're getting full re-rolls. I have, no word of a lie, because it allows you to re-roll a hit roll. It doesn't say re-roll the hit roll, I should say. It doesn't say a failed hit roll. So what I have done, no word of a lie, is I have rolled my dice, got a bunch of 6s, and then taken all of the other regular hits and re-rolled them again. Even though it might result in less overall hits if I'm a bit unlucky, what it often lets me do is generate more lethal hits. And generating more lethal hits, if I'm going after certain targets like, I don't know, big monsters and vehicles, which in theory this thing shouldn't be able to handle because its plasma is only strength 8 and its battle count's only strength 10, so you start going into those big tanks that are like toughness 11, toughness 12. In theory, you shouldn't be able to handle that because you've only got 1 lance cannon and 1 hunter killer missile, but actually, with the full lethals and the full rerolls, it means that you can generate a lot of 6s. And so you can start really just piling on the automatic wounds. And because a lot of the damage you're doing is going to be damage D6 plus 1 from the lance cannon, damage D6 from the hunter killer missile. You've also got damage 3 from the main gun, damage 2 from the overcharged plasma cannon. There's very little damage 1 in here apart from the bloody heavy stubber. And a lot of it's got good AP as well. This is the thing. People look at that AP -1 on the battle cannon and they dismiss it. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You've got AP -3 on the plasma cannons. You've got AP -3 on the lance cannon. AP -3 on the hunter killer missile. And that's just baseline. Which competitive army these days isn't going into battle without some form of extra AP? I'm talking from the guard perspective here. There are some factions that can't boost their AP. Pretty much everyone and their mum is putting at least 1 exterminator in there. And do you know what I found was really good? Creed. Creed in a squad with a mortar. You've seen that run by some of the best players out there right now, which are running guard, okay? And it's free bonus AP thanks to Creed allowing you to do a battle tactic stratagem for free. And in the guard, that basically means fields of fire. And even if you don't have Creed, if you are like me and you've been running a lot of mech guard, well, you're not using things like reinforcements. So what do you use your CP on? Your 2 CP that you generate each battle round? Oh, I don't know. Fields of fire. So I found that my battle tank, it was never hitting it with an AP -1 battle cannon. Never. It was always AP2 or higher, thanks to exterminators, fields of fire, and the fact that you can stack fields of fire on 1 unit as well. Now, I appreciate that I've been riding the dick of the Leman Russ battle tank pretty hard in this video, so let me bring things back down to earth for a moment. I have found that this loadout for the battle tank is very effective, but when it is used and well supported by other units in your army. On its own, it's a good standalone vehicle. It's decent, but it really shines when it's got some force multipliers behind it, when it's got that extra order on it. It can be fine without the order, without the take aim, because it's got full rerolls, so hitting on full rerolls does mean it gets decent accuracy, but I found it really starts singing with take aim on it. Also found that it does need the extra AP. I've had a few times when I've fired a battle cannon and I've not had the extra AP for an exterminator or fields of fire, and the main cannon has struggled to break through the enemy armor. So the way I found this very effective was when it was my 4th tank. Once I've put a couple of demolishers in my list and a Leman Russ exterminator, and I wanted a 4th tank, but I wasn't sure what to go for, that's when I went for the Leman Russ battle tank. Because it was a solid take all comers. No enemy that it faced off did it ever find itself ineffective against. It was a really, really decent vehicle, but it definitely needed that extra AP. But having said all of that, I haven't tried spamming them yet. And I think, purely from a theory hammer point of view, so take this with a grain of salt, that if you were to shove 3 Leman Russes in your list, give every single one of them battle cannons, lance cannons, and plasma cannons, hunter killers, heavy stubbers, I think that would be wildly effective if you did have a couple of force multipliers there. Maybe you have 3 of these things and your 4th tank, because I always say you want 4 tanks in your guard army. Your 4th tank is an exterminator. That's a bit of extra AP. Maybe you take 3 battle tanks, an exterminator, and Creed in a mech guard army. So you've got Creed's fields of fire, you've got the CP just 4 fields of fire because you're not using reinforcements, and then you've got the exterminator's extra AP as well. Suddenly all of those tanks individually have got an extra AP if they need it. You've got it spread out across, or they can concentrate on one enemy unit and all get lots and lots of extra AP. I think if you were to spam them, that's the way to do it, and it's something that I will definitely be trying out in the future. So expect to see, it might not be for a few weeks or so, but expect to see a follow-up video or a follow-up comment in one of my streams where I talk about what it's like to spam the Leman Russ battle tank. In summary, the Leman Russ has a really good general profile, and the battle tank takes it to the next level with its awesome range, great reliability, high volume of shots, and its full rerolls, which allows it to generate a lot of lethal hits. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Have you been finding success with the Leman Russ battle tank, or is there another variant out there which you think just does the same job better? Let me know your favorite tank, be it for guard or any other faction. Put it down in that comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing, truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members, so thank you guys so much. And last, but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bon Vert, Mad Larkin, Marcus Roberts, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Wolf, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.